Hi, it's Imani, and on this episode we have a very special guest. He is teaching people how to start building wealth at any age and how to get from under the curse of poverty, y'all. He is just a regular man walking around with a paid-for house, a Tesla, paid-off rental properties, and he can show you how to do it for yourself. So y'all, help me welcome my guy from Wealth is a Journey, Mr. Che Willis. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Quality Cup Life podcast. My name is Imani, and here we talk about life skills that Gen Z and millennials need to know that you probably weren't taught, and so we gotta fix that. And so that's why we're here today. Probably like a couple months ago, looking at the biggest struggles for first it was millennials and then Gen Z, and for both of them, money was a huge problem. And so we have a person today who is very knowledgeable about money management and things of that nature. And so that's what we're doing today. All right, y'all, let's welcome today Che Willis.
Hey. Monty,
Hey.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited. I was gonna say but I still am really excited because I'm super interested in the topic of money, and I'll be talking about it all the time with different people, and so I'm really excited.
I'm excited to be here. I love talking about money. It's interesting because coming from both sides of the spectrum, when I was growing up, you see one side, poverty, and I don't know if you know about it. I know how old you are, but I grew up in the crack era. So just seeing my community just decimated by drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and how we grew up, and now to kind of see that there's another side to be able to live. But it does take some work but I'm excited to be here.
Cool. Yeah, it's the cool thing about, I'm 27, by the way, but what's very cool about today is that we have the internet, and so I've been exposed to, okay, this is kind of what it looks like. I don't know what that looks like for me yet, but I'm working on it. But at least I know it exists, and I know there's people who actually live like this, and they're not like everybody isn't Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yes.
Because when you don't know any better, you think, oh, everybody is either Oprah or LeBron James or some famous YouTuber or whoever, Serena, Venus, whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot easier than people think. But it is hard to overcome your surroundings. And I think we talked about it in the morning meetup this morning. And they were talking about your surroundings and how important your surroundings are. And even if you're surrounded by poverty, negativity, and so forth, you don't have to be what your surroundings are, if that makes sense. So you can be surrounded by a lot of chaos and negativity, but you yourself don't have to be that. And that's where it starts. It starts in your mind. Like if you have a strong mindset, and that takes time as well, like through life and growing up. And if you have that strong mindset, then you can achieve pretty much anything. Yeah,
for sure.
Your environment is very important too. Very important.
Absolutely. Shout out to the morning meetup. David Shans. This is how I met Che, by the way, is the morning meetup. It's a cool kind of like mastermind-ish for entrepreneurs. And so if y'all interested, I'll include a link so y'all can be like, what's she talking about? That's what I'm talking about. So but the reason why I wanted to have Che on here is because this man hosted one of the calls and you was on there cooking, and I was just like, okay.
Man, that right there, that was a big deal for me because I'm not gonna say I'm an introvert anymore. I'm oversaying that because I'm not. But I think just like everybody else, I don't like to be judged. And when you're the only person speaking, and then everybody's eyes are on you, don't mess up. But I think it was a cool opportunity for me. It got me out of my shell, and it was dope. it was dope to be able to present. And because I've been doing this for years, like budgeting classes and talking about money and actually doing it for free with family and friends and stuff like that. So when the opportunity arose, they was like, "Hey, well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I help, people get their budgets together. I help families living paycheck to paycheck, live the life
XYZ.
budgeting and investing. That's what I do." And it was cool to present what I do to everybody, so then so their eyes can be open to what's possible. Because I think us as Black and brown people, we have an idea that if you're wearing Louis, Gucci, blah blah blah, the latest thing, then you're rich. It's not really the case.
Nope.
They don't care about that. Like, that stuff is not really important to them.
You cannot tell.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah. And if you, what they don't know is the people who are trying to live up to this standard, or keep up with the Joneses. If one of those people, whoever they are, have a conversation with an actual rich person, they're going to be able to tell right away whether they got it or not, just by conversation.
And you know what's interesting is, like, you can find out exactly where people are just by letting them talk. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating because, like, because a lot of times if you ask people questions or whatever they're interested in, they'll like spill their guts. If you listen, like if you genuinely listen, they'll spill their guts, and you be like, "Huh? So that's who you are, or that's what you're on." Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's super cool. And what I think is interesting about, like, my age range, depending on like what kind of background you come from, or whether you come from especially like lower class or middle class, a lot of times we don't even know what. First of all, we don't even know what money is. I think, like, for me, it took a long time to even know what money is. All I knew was my family taught me, you go to a job, job pay you money, you pay your bills. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
Money in savings account.
I know from experience that my parents kind of taught me the same thing, and I spoke about that when I did the presentation, whatever you call it. Nobody was really taught how to handle money. You were taught, like you said, get a job, save your money, and pay your bills. What about abundance? How do you achieve that? How does that work? What is abundance? But your parents only taught you what they know.
Yeah, that's facts.
So if you tap into the internet, and get around different people, environment, again, like we talked about, and you'll see what's possible out there. But again, it's going to take hard work. It's going to take working a plan. And the way me and my family are building wealth is we're eliminating our debt. And I know, contrary to what other people say, yeah, debt is good. There's good debt. There's bad. Listen, if you owe anybody any money, that's not good to me.
And it ain't yours.
Exactly. So if you do owe people money, that's going to hinder you from actually investing in large sums, and consistently investing, which is another formula. You got to be consistent in your investing in order to create abundance.
Well, Shay, let's back up though. Let's back up. What is money though?
So money to me is a tool. Money is a tool to be able to make more money. Meaning, for me, budget, but that's the foundation. You budget your money, meaning you telling your money where to go. So after you get your income in, you pay your bills, whatever's left over, that's what can get you to that next level of wealth. So money is a tool to make you more money. And once you get to that part where your money's making you money, then that's the part where you can possibly relax a little bit, because now your
Mm-hmm.
money's working for you instead of you working for it. So if you, let's just say you start off and you have $100 left over after your budget, after you do your budget and you pay your bills and
Mm-hmm.
you pay out, you're paying down debt and things of that nature. You can, after you have your emergency fund too, that's another thing we can get into like maybe later or whatever. But you take that $100 every month,
Mm-hmm.
barring that you have nothing come up. If you're able to say do $1,200 a year and invest it, after you knock off whatever debt you have, then you'll have more money to invest. And then you keep doing it over and over and over again. And then you're going to look in your account. You're like, oh my God, I got all this money.
Mm-hmm.
And then if an opportunity comes up for you, for that money to make you more money,
Mm-hmm.
by investing in real estate or venture capital or a friend's idea that sounds good and they have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's big too. Having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Then your money can make you more money.
Okay, so let me back up again though. And it's so sad to me, but the job that I'm at now, I work with college students.
Okay.
After a certain time period, that's when all the college students come in because that's is after classes or whatever. What's sad to me is like they don't even know because the stuff that you're talking about, it makes sense to me, but it might be rocket science or like not a common it might not connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I like makes me sad talking to them is that they don't even understand what money is. How do you get like a job to be able to pay your bills and to even start to invest because what's unfortunate to me is that two different coworkers, they're both in college, they're in like their last year of college,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm asking them, okay, well, because I've been there and it wasn't that long ago, I've been there, and I'm like, okay, well, what's your major, what's your minor? And they're telling me, and I'm like, they're telling me what their major and their minor is. Cool. And I asked, okay, what do you want to do with that? And it doesn't align, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just kind of, it's unfortunate and it makes me sad because most people who go to college end up having student loans, and it sucks when you have student loans and then you get out and then you realize that your degree isn't as valuable as you thought.
Correct.
Because like for me growing up, and I'm sure it was probably the same for you too, but it's different a little bit, but by like errors and stuff. But the way I wasn't taught this verbally, but just in environment again. But by environment, it's you go to college and you're automatically you good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I was never taught your major matters. Your major matters, and you need to think about the pathway to that, and then you also need to think about the pathway that you want to go in. Is it gonna afford your life? And that was just it.
You know, it's funny.
What?
As you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, I think that parents,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times maybe not your generation, but maybe mine, their job was to get you to school.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
They like, hey.
we'll figure it out. Because they had to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think I always keep the little Che in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if I had this information that I have now, then I can equip my son with this information so he doesn't have to figure everything out. Like he's going to have to figure some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But just paying attention to your environment and seeing what worked and what didn't work
Mm-hmm.
ultimately decides what I'm doing or not doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always paying attention to what's going on around me, and I'm always thinking back to little Che, like what happened in little Che's life, so he won't have to, his son won't have to live like little Che lived.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that my childhood was terrible,
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted things and I couldn't have them because we didn't have the money to have them. And I went to a school. I went to Lower Marion High School, school with Kobe Bryant, and there were a lot of other ethnicities that had a lot of bread. And I would go to school and see all this, kids who was 16 years old. They're driving Acuras, which is a really nice car back then. They were driving these nice cars. Their parents had mansions.
Those are the cars with the speakers in the trunk, weren't they?
Yeah. But
man,
Acura, the
cool.
Acura Legends,
Acura, cool daddy, cool mama.
Yeah, they was real. Yeah, but their parents would buy them cars.
Yeah.
And I'm driving an 86 Hyundai XL. And they're driving brand new cars in the same year, 96, 97. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm going home to seeing these things. And then I'm going back to school and I'm seeing something else. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to live like this. So what do I need to do to live different? And I didn't know the answers, but as I grew up and as I got into the corporate world and I started seeing different people moving differently, I gravitated to them and said, hey, how are you doing this? I wanted to buy a house when I was 23. But I knew at the age of 21, I would need to save up for a down payment. Did I know where I was going to live? No, but I know I needed to at least save so I could put myself in position to be able to get the house. So my parents didn't buy their first house until they were in their 30s, which was a cool experience, but I didn't want to live in an apartment.
Oh, you was bougie. Okay, you was like, I need a house.
I was too poor to be bougie. Don't do that. We're not doing that, Imani. We're not doing that. But the thing is I knew that I wanted things, and in order for me to get the things that I wanted, I had to work for them. Again, I didn't know exactly how to get them, but I knew what didn't work. So I was going to do that. So that's kind of how I make my decisions, and I think if those people that you're working around or helping out, if they really pay attention to what's going on, they will make different decisions so they won't repeat the patterns that they saw at home, whether good or bad. Like if you're paying attention, you know what works, but you got to have that. You got to have something in you that is going to drive you to the opposite way. Like, this is it over here. This way.
For sure. True. That is true. I'm just wondering why a lot of people their mind doesn't even go there to even think to pay attention, which is like, dang, if you don't think to pay attention now, those student loans going to make you pay attention later. And I'm like, I don't want you to do that because I see it coming. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
And it really like hurts it really hurts my heart because the two people that I'm talking about, both of them want to go into the career field that and do the work that's similar to that's in the field that I'm in. And I'm like, yo, like your psychology major not about to get you there. Like psychology is not about to get you in the marketing space. And what was the other thing they said? It was one was psychology and the other person was mass communications. And I'm like, yo, it's not. What even is mass? No shade. What even is mass communications? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it.
So I ran when I was in college. First of all, I went to Cheney University, and when I got to school, first of all, I went to college because everybody else was going. I had no idea what I was doing. I hated school, but I went because everybody else was going, and I didn't want to be the person that said, I'm not going to college, I'm going to work. So when I got there, I went to be a computer science major. I'm like, okay, computers are going to be the future. Boy, who I went to high school with, he was going to be a computer science major. So I'm like, all right, that sounds good. I'll do that. So when I got there, I met this guy. I think his name was Greg, or we call him Grizz. And he was talking to me. He was like, yeah, well, why don't you do marketing? Because if you do marketing, you can do sales, and it's a broad thing for you to be able to do multiple different jobs. It's not just one thing. Like if you go to computer science, it's just one thing. But if you do marketing, you could do a bunch of different things. So I'm like, that sounds interesting. So I ended up changing my major before school started. And that was the best decision I ever made. I did an internship my junior year, but it ended up working out where I did the internship my junior year. I did it my senior year, and then I ended up working. I worked for Enterprise Rent a Car, which was the hardest, probably one of the hardest jobs I ever had. I only had 2 jobs out of college, but it was a hard job because you're actually running the business. It teaches you how to run a business, how to do a profit and loss statement, how to save on expenses. But the thing is that I paid attention because I saw a lot of people just come out of school and they had no idea what they were going to be doing. So I'm like, okay, I got to do an internship. So at least I know if I don't want to do that or I do want to do it. Maybe I had a conversation with somebody that I don't remember, but that was always the focus, just to get an internship when I was a junior. So again, you got to pay attention and you got to have conversations with different people, because they'll tell you everything that you need to know, especially if they're older than you. So that's one of the things I love to do is talk to older people because they've already done it. They know the mistakes and attention. I love it. But
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It dang it, where was I? What was I thinking just now? Yeah, I think it's super important to, of course, do an internship so you know what you're getting into, and then, like you said, talk to people who are in the field that you're kind of interested in, so you know what does their day look like.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people, like, for whatever reason, for some that doesn't even enter into a person's mind. Some like students' minds, that doesn't even come to their mind, and which is very unfortunate. Or they'll like and what's interesting, like a difference between like your generation and mine, is that college degrees aren't as valuable as they used to be.
Correct.
Which is very interesting. Like the formula that worked better for your generation or my mom's generation is not the same, especially with the internet, like the social media boom and stuff like that. For like example, my major was graphic design, and my minor was web development. But now you have things like Canva, where people can just pump out graphics. Now I can tell if a person uses Canva. I can look at it immediately, but okay, they use a template. But it makes the craft of what I learned and what I worked so hard for less valuable. And so you have to be even better. You have to be very good because to make your stuff stand out from a Canva. And then there's stuff like AI and stuff like that. And so because of all the technological advances and templates and all that stuff, it forced me and a bunch of other people who had like a similar major to like you gotta learn different things. You gotta up your skills. College doesn't end, or not college, but learning doesn't end when you graduate. Some people think that it doesn't. It doesn't stop. If you stop, you're gonna get left behind.
Facts.
And you can't pay your bills because Jay, you wouldn't believe, with all these skills I've acquired since I left college, they still wanna, with the inflation, they talking about $12. I'm like, who? 15?
An hour?
Who?
What? No.
Not me.
No.
Not I. Like it, and then like it also comes into play like how to how to make money to even be able to do the like more advanced stuff that you're talking about. You have to like acquire different skills to even be able to do that. But it's sad that a lot of people don't, because you even have to learn how to sell yourself. That's a part of getting money.
Yep.
How to sell yourself before you even get to talk to them. That's your resume. You got to sell yourself on your resume. You got to sell yourself in the interview. You got to sell yourself when it comes to the offer.
Yeah.
Like who is talking about this? I never heard it. I never heard it. So
that's why they got you on this podcast now. That's why they got you, so you can talk about it, to tell them what they need to do. No?
Yeah, I'm trying, because I'm just blown away by all the stuff I'm like stumbling through that I never heard.
But again, this is why you have this podcast, because you can tell them. You can tell them. It's doing two things. It's providing you with content because you know what to tell people. And if you're providing value, then people are going to flock to you. And raise your, get your channel numbers up and monetize, and then you'll be the subject matter expert, because you're getting these reps in talking about the thing that people need. Yeah. So, people, and I talk about all the time, which is when I'm hosting the morning meetup in the beginning, I was scared to death to do the XYZ statement. I thought about it. I'm like, well, I'm only scared to death because I'm not practicing it. I'm not doing it over and over and over again. But the fact of the matter is that people aren't going to know, just know what you do and how you can add value to them until you tell them. And if you're doing it over and over and over and over again, every time you do your book bars or whatever, then it's going to be like second nature to you to be telling what you do. I'm saying all that to say that people who add value will always be in demand. I don't care what you're doing. You can add value, and you're a likable person, you're always going to be in demand. So, graphic design or whatever it is. But it's, I don't know, man. I'm scared for the generation coming behind you, man. And because, like, one of the things I do on the side of my 9 to 5, I have real estate passed down to my son. Whether he wants it or not, it's income. When I'm gone, it's income for him if he chooses to carry it on or whatever. But his generation, like, and people behind him will probably be taken over by like jobs or skills, whatever, by robots and AI and stuff. So whatever skill that you have, it has to be something that maybe only a human can do. If that, I don't even know if that makes sense, but like sales and things like that, you're going to have to be able to do something that the robots can't do. And it's going to be scary out here, man. For his generation, people coming behind him, because I feel like if parents don't leave their kids businesses or something, then they're gonna be messed up, man. Especially if they don't know about budgeting and finances and like, and on top of it, it's a wrap.
Yeah, for sure. And we don't want to scare people, but
No, no. Listen. I say that so sweet. Okay, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's going to be vitally important to do something or have a skill set that can't be done by robots. AI. I don't know what that is. Here's what I know. People are always going to need somewhere to live.
For sure.
Just the reason I love real estate. And they're going to pay you to live there, or if they can't, then there's subsidized housing and Section 8 and things of that nature. So that'll always be in demand. And if you're a good landlord, then you'll always be in demand, or people just won't leave. So
for sure. And I think that's one of the really important things that I learned about money is the only way you make it is you're solving a problem. And the more valuable of the problem you solve, the more money you make.
You got it.
So yeah, so that's like a skill in itself that you need to learn no matter what age you're in. It's a harder concept because things are moving or changing very quickly in the last few years, but that's something you got to adjust with the times, or if not, like Chase said, you might be replaced by a robot.
Listen, I didn't realize how serious this was until I go to my grocery store or go to Walmart. Think about how many cashiers used to be there, and now they just have the self checkout. And they might have like 3 registers open when there's a Walmart, and it's like there used to be like almost 30 registers. Now there's 27 registers but done by AI or a robot. And now there's 3 people working down there.
For sure.
Where the people that used to work?
At the house, I don't know. You know what's crazy though? I went to a Circle K today, and I went up to the counter, and I had like I think body armor drink or whatever, and the girl was like, "Oh, put it on the counter," and I said, "Right here." I put it on the counter, and tell me why the little thing that it was sitting on scanned it for her. And then I pulled out my money because I had cash. People don't know what cash is. I had cash in my hand. And she said, "Oh, put it in the thing." Tell me why it was an automatic thing. It was in front of me. And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Girl, do you not realize this machine you're not needed here?" Yeah. I don't like.
That's crazy.
Like, your only job is to tell me how to put it in the machine. Like, I thought that was crazy to me. I was like, yo.
Yeah. So I'm not here to scare anybody. But if again, if you're paying attention, you'll see what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That is crazy.